sometimes you got to let God be your driver. So I was sitting here having a cup of coffee, talking to God, for asking him to forgive me for the things that I've done today. I've had a good day, but sometimes we're not perfect. And the first thing we got to say is, God, forgive me for my sins that I know of and the sins that I don't know of. So I'm just having a little conversation with God. It's so important to just have conversations with him. First, I want to start off by saying having a conversation with God is so adorable and amazing. You have a conversation with him like he's your best friend right beside you. Like he's your husband, and not in a circular way, but in a way, your comfort. And sometimes you got to say, hey, God, I had a good day. Thank you for a good day. Start talking to him. Confess what you're feeling. Confess that you messed up today if you messed up. So I just had to put that disclaimer in there. Make sure you're spending that time with God. Reading the word is important, but not only read the word, spend time with God, because that is so important when you're rising in him. But God put it in my spirit. One day I was praying and I was worrying about a lot of things. And I told God, I said, God, I am worried. And, God, just be my driver. And I was thinking about, if you remember, I know in my past life, I would, drink and go clubbing and stuff like that. I always drove. I was always the driver. But if you, remember, those people, if you watch movies or funny movies, you see the limbo driver or the driver and somebody gets in the car, they're angry or, they're sad, or they say, driver, just take me anywhere. I don't care where I'm going, right? Or they're drunk, and the driver takes them home. Hallelujah. They don't want to go home, but they got to go home. So, you got this driver that's pretty much doing safety precautions to take them home anyway. And I was thinking about God in that sense. I said, God, you know what? Be my driver. Just like a limbo driver, or a driver that's picking me up and I don't know where I'm going, or I'm angry and I'm sad. Be my chauffeur, God. Take me where you want to go. Hallelujah. Sometimes you got to say, God, I don't know what I'm doing. Man, life can get so hard that you be like, God, I don't even know what to pray for. I'm just asking you, be the driver. And when you do that, you are allowing him to be your driver. You are allowing him to be your limbo driver. You're allowing him to be your taxi driver. And you're in the back seat and you're just trusting the driver, because when you get in the driver's car, you got to trust that limbo driver, right? You're trusting that driver to take you where you need to be taken. You're not afraid, you're not afraid of them kidnapping you, because that's God, he's always going to protect you. But sometimes you got to say, God, be the driver. Take the, how people say, take the wheel, God. And that's what that's what they mean. Take the wheel, take the wheel, God. Take the wheel, because I can't do it by myself. So that's how you got to look at God. God is your driver and you're in the back seat and you're trusting him with taking you where you want to go. If things don't look good and you're confused about a situation, it's fine and dandy to be like, God, I'm confused about this situation. I don't know what I'm going to do about this situation, but I ask you to just take the lead, y'all, God, because I don't know what I'm doing. See, when you do that, you're real with him. You're opening up to him. You're not trying to be fake and phony. You're not trying to do that. You're really open with God, and he loves that. He loves those open conversations. I promise you he does. The open conversations have gotten me, my God, to the most blessings in my life. And those blessings came from me having more wisdom and more joy, more happiness with my Father. It's just been great just having open conversations with him. And I said, God, I can't do this on my own. I can't. I'm too angry to drive right now. Sometimes God may be telling you to do something and you got to be honest. You got to say, God, I know. And we got to be obedient, right, when God tells us to move. Sometimes it gets hard and you got to say, God, take the lead. I can't do it. I'm sorry, God. I can't do it by myself. Sometimes you got to say, I can't drive by myself, God. Be the passenger teaching me to drive. If you want me to be the driver of this thing, of course God is the driver. But what I'm saying is, you got some situation that God said, okay, you got to get up and move now. I'm going to do it for you, but you got to get up and do something about it, right? Say, God, all right, I'm going to take the wheel for a little bit. Be my passenger and tell me where to go. Tell me what to do. That's how you allow God to take control over your situations, to take control over your life. So let God be your driver. Let him be your chauffeur and say, God, take me where you want me to go. Because where God is taking you, he will never take you into an alleyway for you to get, taken out. And no, he's taking you up. If God is the driver, oh man, you're in for the best time in your life. I don't care what hell you face, because God is your driver. So even when hell breaking loose, my God, even when hell breaking loose, blessings are breaking loose. You got God as the driver. He's like your bodyguard, right? You don't care about the hell. You care. Of course, you're human. Hell hurts. We don't want to be in hell. We want to be joyful every day. And yeah, but you're going to go through some things. Sometimes you're going to go through some things in order so you can get that permanent joy, right? So when God is your driver, y'all, when you say, God, take over, just take over. I give it to you, literally. You are allowing him to drive this force out. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope this blessed you tonight, okay? See you on the next video. Make sure you let God be your driver.